Welcome to our deep dive into personally identifiable information, or PII, and sensitive data. In today's digital world, understanding what PII is and why it matters is more important than ever. From your name and address to more complex data like biometric or genetic information, PII forms the backbone of privacy discussions. This video will guide you through the different types of PII, what makes data sensitive, and why context is crucial. Let's start by defining PII and setting the stage for our exploration of data privacy and protection. PII stands for personally identifiable information. It refers to any data that can be used to identify a specific individual either directly or indirectly. This includes obvious details like your full name, social security number, or passport number, but it can also involve less direct identifiers, such as your date of birth or even your IP address. Understanding what qualifies as PII is the first step in protecting your privacy and complying with data regulation. Direct identifiers are pieces of information that can single-handedly identify a person. Think of your full name, social security number, or driver's license number. These are the most straightforward forms of PII. If someone has access to this data, they can easily pinpoint who you are. That's why direct identifiers are often the focus of data protection laws and security measures. Not all PII is obvious. Indirect identifiers, also known as quasi-identifiers, are pieces of information that on their own may not identify you. However, when combined with other data, they can reveal your identity. Examples include your date of birth, zip code, or gender. These details might seem harmless, but in the right context, they can be used to trace back to you. Quasi-identifiers are a special category of indirect identifiers. They don't identify you by themselves, but when combined with other quasi-identifiers, they can. For example, knowing someone's birth date, gender, and zip code can uniquely identify a large percentage of people in the United States. This is why organizations must be careful with even seemingly innocuous data. Some types of data are considered especially sensitive and are protected by stricter regulations. These are known as special categories of data. They include biometric data, genetic information, health records, and data revealing racial or ethnic origin, political opinions, or religious beliefs. Mishandling this data can have serious consequences for individuals and organizations alike. Biometric data refers to unique physical or behavioral characteristics that can be used to identify a person. This includes fingerprints, facial recognition data, iris scans, and even voice patterns. Because biometric data is unique and permanent, it's considered highly sensitive. If compromised, it can't be changed like a password, making its protection a top priority. Genetic data includes information about a person's DNA, genes, or inherited traits. This data can reveal not only personal health information but also details about family members. Because of its deeply personal nature, genetic data is subject to strict privacy laws and ethical considerations. Protecting genetic data is crucial to prevent misuse or discrimination. Health data covers a wide range of information, from medical records and diagnoses to prescriptions and treatment histories. This data is extremely sensitive because it can impact a person's privacy, reputation, and even employment. Laws like HIPAA in the United States set strict rules for handling and sharing health data to ensure it remains confidential. Sensitivity of data often depends on context. For example, sharing your location with a friend is different from sharing it with a company. Some data may not seem sensitive on its own, but in certain situations it can become highly personal. Understanding the context in which data is collected, stored, and shared is key to protecting privacy. PII is everywhere in our daily lives. From signing up for a new service online to filling out forms at the doctor's office, we constantly share personal information. Even something as simple as using a loyalty card at the grocery store involves sharing PII. Being aware of when and how you share this information is the first step in protecting yourself. Every time you use the internet, you leave behind a digital footprint. This includes your browsing history, search queries, and even your social media activity. While some of this data may not seem personal, it can be pieced together to create a detailed profile about you. That's why it's important to manage your digital footprint carefully. Organizations collect and store PII about employees, customers, and partners. This can include everything from contact details to payroll information. Protecting this data is not just a legal requirement, but also essential for maintaining trust. Companies must have policies and security measures in place to safeguard PII at every stage. Various laws and regulations govern the collection, storage, and use of PII. Examples include the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR in Europe, and the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA in the United States. These laws set out strict requirements for how organizations must handle personal data, with heavy penalties for noncompliance. One key principle in data protection is data minimization. This means collecting only the data that is absolutely necessary for a specific purpose. By limiting the amount of PII collected, organizations reduce the risk of data breaches and misuse. It's a simple but powerful way to enhance privacy and security. Anonymization is the process of removing or altering personal identifiers from data sets so that individuals cannot be identified. This is especially important when sharing data for research or analysis. Proper anonymization helps protect privacy while still allowing valuable insights to be gained from the data. Pseudonymization is another technique used to protect PII. It involves replacing private identifiers with fake identifiers or pseudonyms. While this doesn't make the data completely anonymous, it adds an extra layer of protection. Pseudonymized data can often be re-identified if necessary, but only by authorized parties. Encryption is a fundamental tool for protecting PII. It transforms readable data into an unreadable format which can only be accessed with the correct key. Encryption is used for data at rest, such as files stored on a server, and data in transit like emails or online transactions. It's a critical defense against unauthorized access. Access controls determine who can view or use PII within an organization. By limiting access to only those who need it, companies can reduce the risk of data leaks or misuse. This involves setting up user permissions, authentication processes, and regular audits to ensure compliance. Data breach occurs when PII or sensitive data is accessed or disclosed without authorization. Breaches can happen due to hacking, human error, or even physical theft. The consequences can be severe, including identity theft, financial loss, and reputational damage. Organizations must have plans in place to respond quickly to breaches. When a data breach occurs, a swift and effective response is essential. Incident response plans outline the steps to take, from containing the breach to notifying affected individuals and authorities. Regular drills and updates to these plans help organizations stay prepared for potential incidents. Educating users about PII and sensitive data is a key part of any privacy program. People need to understand what information is sensitive, how to protect it, and what to do if they suspect a breach. Regular training and clear communication help build a culture of privacy and security. Organizations often share PII with third-party vendors or partners. Each time data is shared, new risks are introduced. It's important to vet partners carefully, ensure they follow strict privacy standards, and have agreements in place to protect shared data. Data retention policies specify how long PII should be kept and when it should be deleted. Keeping data longer than necessary increases the risk of breaches. Clear retention schedules help organizations comply with legal requirements and protect privacy. Proper disposal of PII is just as important as its protection during use. This means securely deleting digital files and shredding physical documents. Failing to dispose of data correctly can lead to unauthorized access and potential breaches. Data about children is subject to even stricter rules. Laws like COPPA in the United States require parental consent before collecting information from minors. Organizations must take extra care to protect children's privacy and comply with all relevant regulations. Healthcare organizations handle large amounts of sensitive data, including PII and special categories like health and genetic information. Protecting this data is critical for patient trust and regulatory compliance. Robust security measures and strict access controls are essential in this sector. Financial data, such as bank account numbers and credit card details, is highly sensitive. Unauthorized access can lead to fraud and identity theft. Financial institutions must use advanced encryption and monitoring to protect this type of data. Location data, such as GPS coordinates, can reveal a lot about a person's habits and routines. When combined with other PII, it can be used to track individuals. Organizations must handle location data with care and ensure users are aware of how it's being used. Social media platforms collect vast amounts of PII, from profile information to posts and interactions. Users should be cautious about what they share online, as this data can be accessed by others and potentially misused. Privacy settings and regular reviews are essential for protecting your information. Mobile apps often request access to various types of PII, such as contacts, location, and camera. It's important to review app permissions and only grant access to necessary information. Regularly updating apps and using trusted sources can help minimize risks. Storing PII in the cloud offers convenience but also introduces new risks. Cloud providers must have strong security measures in place, and users should understand how their data is protected. Encryption, access controls, and regular security assessments are key to safe cloud storage. Artificial intelligence systems often rely on large data sets, which may include PII and sensitive data. Ensuring that AI models are trained and used responsibly is essential. This includes anonymizing data, obtaining consent, and monitoring for bias or misuse. Transferring PII across borders introduces additional challenges. Different countries have different privacy laws, and organizations must ensure compliance with all relevant regulations. Mechanisms like standard contractual clauses help facilitate safe international data transfers. Individuals have rights over their PII, including the right to access, correct, or delete their data. Organizations must have processes in place to respond to these requests promptly. Respecting data subject rights is a cornerstone of modern privacy laws. Obtaining and managing consent is fundamental when handling PII. Users must be informed about what data is being collected and how it will be used. Consent should be clear, specific, and easy to withdraw at any time. Data portability allows individuals to obtain and reuse their PII across different services. This right empowers users and encourages competition among service providers. Organizations must provide data in a structured, commonly used format when requested. The right to be forgotten allows individuals to request the deletion of their PII from an organization's records. This is especially important when data is no longer needed or was collected unlawfully. Organizations must have processes in place to honor these requests promptly. Transparency is key to building trust around PII and sensitive data. Organizations should clearly communicate what data they collect, why they collect it, and how it will be used. Regular updates and accessible privacy policies help keep users informed. Privacy by design means integrating privacy and data protection into every stage of product or service development. This proactive approach helps prevent issues before they arise and ensures that privacy is a core consideration, not an afterthought. Privacy Impact Assessment (PII) is a tool used to identify and minimize privacy risks in new projects or systems. Conducting PIIs helps organizations understand how PII will be used and what safeguards are needed. Regular assessments are a best practice for ongoing privacy management. New technologies like blockchain, IoT, and facial recognition introduce fresh challenges for PII and sensitive data. Organizations must stay informed about technological advances and adapt their privacy practices accordingly. Continuous learning and flexibility are essential in this rapidly changing landscape. Beyond legal requirements, ethical considerations play a major role in handling PII and sensitive data. Organizations should strive to respect user autonomy, avoid discrimination, and act transparently. Ethical data practices help build long-term trust and reputation. As technology evolves, so do the challenges and opportunities for data privacy. New regulations, tools, and best practices will continue to shape how PII and sensitive data are managed. Staying proactive and informed is the best way to ensure privacy in the digital age. Summary: understanding PII and sensitive data is essential for protecting privacy in our connected world. From direct and indirect identifiers to special categories like biometric and genetic data, each type requires careful handling. Context matters, and both legal and ethical considerations must guide our actions. By staying informed and proactive, we can all contribute to a safer, more private digital environment.